Hello, I'm Mary Susie from Bead Me a Story, and today I want to show you how to make a European 4-in-1 stretch bracelet using anodized aluminum jump rings and EPDM rubber O-rings. So you're going to need a couple tools in order to do this. I'm using Xuron pliers. I like that brand the best because the surface of these pliers is extremely non-slip, so I find that they work the best of all the pliers. I have a pair of flat nose pliers. This is for my dominant hand, and then I have a pair of bent nose pliers. This is a 90-degree bent nose plier, and I'm going to be using that in my non-dominant hand. So let's go ahead and get started. You can see that I pre-opened my jump rings for this project just to save a little bit of time. So generally a 6.5-inch wrist is going to be about 44 jump rings long. So for that you would probably double the O-rings, so that'd be 88 rubber O-rings and 44 jump rings for this project. Make it larger, smaller. I do have a tutorial in PDF form for this, so if you need one, that can be provided to give you some other sizes. So I'm going to grab the jump ring at about 3 o'clock, okay, and have that steady in my hand. I'm going to pick up 2 of my Red Rocks rubber O-rings and 2 of the olive colored rubber O-rings. And these rubber O-rings are a 7.25 millimeter size. This was kind of an odd size that I got a sample of on accident and realized how well they work with 18 gauge 3/16 jump rings, which is the size jump ring we're using. These 2 sizes together will make a whole lot of projects. So this is a nice size to have on hand. Okay, so now that I've picked up those 4, sorry, I lost my grip on that. So now that I picked up these 4 rubber O-rings, I'm going to go ahead and close this jump ring. Okay, and when I lay this down, I'm going to put the Red Rocks color towards the bottom and have the olive sitting on top of that. And you can see that my jump ring in this configuration forms a backwards C. And I'll just show you with another sample that I made. I'm going to be making this in stripes, but we could have oriented the colors in a different way and had, you know, red up here, green down here, and change colors in more of a checkerboard fashion. But for today's, let's just keep it simple. And I'm going to pick up another jump ring, okay? And then I want to show you how to pick this up, because I do find that when people are learning chainmail, it's their non-dominant hand that tends to cause them the most trouble. So I'm going to put my thumb on top of this piece. You can see my thumb is going on top, and my index finger is grabbing this from beneath, and then I bring my middle finger underneath to support the work, and you can see I'm kind of pushing on this jump ring with my thumb just ever so slightly. I can remove it. It's really my middle finger that's supporting the work, but this is going to keep these olive rings pushed forward so that now I can take my jump ring and I can go down into the jump ring, down into the O-ring that's towards me, and then let it come back out the rubber O-ring that's further away from me. Okay, and then we're going to pick up some light tan rubber O-rings. That's a brand new color that we just got just a couple months ago. Okay, I'm going to close that jump ring. Okay, let's pick up another jump ring. Again, we're going down into the ring that's closer to us and letting the jump ring come back up out of the rubber O-ring that's farther from us. Okay, the next color I'm going to pick up is some powder blue. I'm going to put one on one prong, one on the next prong, and then close the jump ring. Okay, so now that we have all four of our colors, let's take a look at this. Okay, and you can see that we have that backward C. Each of these anodized aluminum jump rings has a backward C, so if you walk away from your work and come back to it later, that's the orientation that you're going to be looking for. So let me just do a couple more rows of this. Again, I'm going to put my thumb down, come in, my middle finger supporting it from underneath. I go down into the O-ring that's closer to me and up out of the O-ring that's farther away from me. I'm going to now go back to our Red Rocks color. Put one on each prong. Grab my pliers, I grab at 3 o'clock. Like to grab the other side of the jump ring at about 9 o'clock, somewhere between 8 and 10 o'clock. Okay. Let's do one more. And something I want to point out too is when you grab your jump ring, a lot of people like to do this business of picking it up off the table, but you can see when I picked it up off of the table that I was stabbing down through the center of it, and there's absolutely no way that I could now apply this to my work. So when you pick up a jump ring, I want you to make sure that that jump ring is running parallel to your pliers. And when it's parallel to the pliers, you're going to be able to shift it into your work quite easily. So we're going down into this O-ring, coming back up out of the other O-ring, and then we're going to pick up our olive again and come in and close that jump ring. Okay, also notice that this back side of this is flopping down. That's totally okay. You can just ignore it for now. When we get to the end, we're going to make this continuous. So we're going to lift that back up and get it back into formation again. It's not something you need to worry about right at this moment. Okay, through there. Back to our light tan color. So we carry over 30 colors in this size of rubber O-ring. I decided years and years ago to start having the O-rings manufactured in all sorts of fabulous colors because they didn't exist on the market at the time. So you'll want to visit our website in order to get some supplies of these, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how many colors there are to choose from. Okay, and then our powder blue. Okay, so I wanted to get, I put about 8 rows of rubber O-rings, 7 rows of anodized aluminum jump rings, and this is adding rows of European 4-in-1, 1 row at a time. But there is actually a faster way to do this, and I am going to show you how to do that. Okay, so you can see here, this is the section that we just completed by adding 1 row at a time. So I want to show you a speed method for doing this, and that basically involves making these little units of 4 and 1 and keeping them all separate. So the nice part about doing this is that when you're trying to create a design, you'll be able to lay out your work in front of you and really see what it's going to look like before you string it all together. So you know, you can see I can still move around any of these and configure the colors in different ways while they're still separated. But this is going to be just like before, where I put my thumb down, bring my index finger and then my middle finger underneath, go down through the olive, up through the olive ring that's farther away from me. And now what I need to do is I'm going to use my right hand, just like I did my left hand, and use my thumb and my index finger to pick this up. And you can see how the light tan are sticking out here. So I'm going to stick the light tan onto the ring that's onto the prong that's closer to me, and then the other light tan onto the prong that's farther from me. You'll only be going through the light tan. You were holding it in place the way you were to keep this this little grouping oriented while you laid it on top of the red and olive group. And then we're going to come in and close this jump ring. So you can see with that one little move, I now have 4 rows of O-rings and 3 rows of jump rings. So let's bring in another jump ring. Now I'm going to pick up this whole piece and go down through the powder blue, back up through the other powder blue, put my thumb down, pick up this section, and I need the red rocks on the prong towards me, the other red rocks on the prong that's farther away from me. Okay, and then bring in the pliers and close this jump ring. Okay, just add one more real quickly. Okay, and I'll get that last one closed. Okay, so now we have the section that we made in rows 1 at a time, and we have the section that we made in little double rows, okay? And those can just be linked together now the same way we've been doing. So I'll go ahead and pick up a jump ring. I'm going to pick up this whole section. I'll go down into this powder blue, back up out of the powder blue that's farther away from me. Pick up this section with that's starting with the red rocks and lay those onto that prong. And I'll go ahead and close that jump ring. Okay, so that gets us started. You can continue on with this section until you reach 44 rows or 40 rows or however many you need to fit around your wrist. Remember, this is going to be a stretchy bracelet, so you can have it fit almost exactly the size of your wrist, and it's going to work out great. Also, notice how flat this pattern is. So people who don't normally wear jewelry are willing to wear this particular piece of jewelry because it's not intrusive in any way. If somebody works at a desk, it's not going to bang on the desk. These are waterproof and UV resistant and pollution resistant. So actually, the more you wear these rubber O-rings on your wrist, it will pick up oils from your skin and actually last a really long time. As long as, you know, I find with children that they're pulling and stretching it all day long. These are nice, sturdy, industrial grade EPDM rubber O-rings, but there is a limit to what rubber can take. That said, these are very sturdy for somebody who just wears them, takes it off each day, puts it on each day. You shouldn't have any problems with breakage. Okay, so we've finished our bracelet. You can see that the full length is all ready to go here. And I'm just showing you that this is going to be a stretchy bracelet. Okay, so to finish this, this was the last row that I completed. So once again, I'm going to go down into the rubber O-ring that's closest to me, back up out of the jump ring that's the O-ring, excuse me, that's further away from me. And then we're gonna bring the start around, and I want you to see how I'm flattening these out so that they will be able to lay right on top of the ending section. So this is my starting end, this is my end, and I'm gonna lay the first red one I put on top of the prong that's closer to me, and I'm gonna put the other O-ring onto the other prong, okay? So we'll go ahead and close this jump ring. And now our bracelet is complete. So you can do this in a ton of different color combinations. A lot of people like to do it for with their favorite team colors, any kind of themes, movies you like, things like that. We carry over 30 colors in this particular size of rubber O-ring, so the sky's the limit. I refer to this one as a single row bracelet, so you actually just have a single row of jump rings and 2 rows of rubber O-rings, but when we talk about European 4-in-1, I think it's easier to discuss it with, we count it by the rows of jump rings that we do, because those are the ones that we need to open and close. So that's the end of this video. I hope you've learned lots from it. This is one of the most fundamental chainmail weaves that there is, so learning this will definitely help you along the way in learning lots of other new things. Thanks so much. Bye.